Start spreading the news.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
New York, I love you. I love New York.
Rose trying to get open, fires away. Bang! It's over! The Bulls win at the buzzer! Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection. Puts up the three. Won't go. Rebound box. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang!
What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Off the Ball podcast with me, your host, Chris LeBron. And on today's show, I got my guy, Mo Up in Flames Murphy. What's going on, my brother?
Man, what's good, bro? I mean, we done already damn near had a show before the show, so it's time to get the show on the road, man.
We talked college football for like a half hour. I've been ever since the playoff came out and all that. I had a lot to say about that, and hopefully we'll get to talk about that on one of these shows upcoming because I got a lot to say about what happened and all that, and what happened to Florida State, which is kind of wild. And I'm kind of defending a team I can't stand. And it's crazy, not to get off, but like there's a lot of Miami fans that are like they feel bad for Florida State. So, hopefully we'll get into that, which is kind of weird feeling that way, but we'll get into that on one of these college football shows. But Mo, NBA season upon. I haven't really done a lot, but I'm getting back into it. I've been working on some projects going on, that I got, finally happening and all that, and got some stuff going on with Omar. We got a new project coming out. We're talking about the greatest what ifs, and we're going to talk about, what if Shaq never left Orlando. We got that working. That's going to be dropping this weekend. We're supposed to do it last weekend, but things happen. We're going to get that going this weekend. So working on some cool things, to try and change it. But wanted to talk the National Basketball Association, a lot of things going on. And there's a big thing going on. It's called the in-season tournament, Mo. I don't know about you. I know we talked about it, but I know I wasn't crazy about it at first. And I kind of thought like a player, because I'm like, are the players going to care about this enough? Like, is there big enough incentives for the players to care enough about an in-season tournament the way people care, players in soccer care about, the tournaments they have and all that. I can't name a tournament. I don't know the tournaments enough, but we know they have like cups and all that, in the season for their club teams. And it feels like the players they care about it, and there's a different atmosphere. I don't know if you watched the Indiana-Boston game, but that felt like a playoff atmosphere a quarter way into the season. And so I'm like, okay, I think this is something. Like even for the Knicks-Bucks, I mean, we got smacked by the Bucks, but it felt like, all right, I would watch the game regardless, right? When we go hoop heads, we watch our teams regardless. It don't matter if we're playing against the, whoever. We're playing against the Pistons, we're gonna watch it. But there was an extra little incentive, for me to watch that, that in-season tournament game. So for you, obviously your team's not in it, but what's your thoughts on it? You guys have bigger things to worry about, to get to the other, when an NBA title. But what was your thoughts prior to when you first dropped that? Then they first dropped the idea, and then it came into fruition, the in-season tournament, to now. And what's your thoughts now about the in-season tournament?
I mean, when it first dropped, I ain't really care. Like, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, whatever. I ain't understand it, but I ain't really care. I was like, all right, we'll see what it looked like when it happened. Like, I mean, I don't know. Other people, like, they do it overseas and all that, but I'm like, we'll see. Like, we'll just see. I don't know. But now, seeing it now, bro, I'm just glad the players bought into it, bro. Like, it make, and I think it was perfect. See, the NBA smart, though. You know what I'm saying? They made sure them games is played on Tuesday and Friday, and it drug all the way to the point where the championship game is on Saturday night. Guess what ain't on Saturday night? College football. Like, we ain't competing with nothing. It makes it like it's a championship or something. You know what I'm saying? So, and I everybody played hard, bro. Like, think about it. Phoenix could have laid down. You know what I'm saying? When they was down 14-15, and it was early. Don't get me wrong. We see teams down early, starting off cold, but like they could have simply laid down if it was just another Tuesday night. Like if this game didn't mean winning something, but like Devin Booker fought hard on a bad night. You know what I'm saying? You can't say that some of these superstars don't just accept like, damn, tonight's my night. They got us tonight and, on to the next one. But like, nah, Devin Booker kept fighting, you know what I'm saying? Had some plays. He didn't play the greatest, but shit, he kept it
struggled.
KD was hooping. Like KD had his moments. He was taking over. You know what I'm saying? When they got within reach, KD doing what KD does, mid-range, pull up, jump shots, bro, face you up. Like, hey, bro, I'm trying to win this. Like, and I don't think none of them value it like the NBA Finals, but like it's a reason to compete early on where it'd be so easy to just sit. Like you easily could just sit. But instead, bro, they decided, let's compete. Let's make this bragging rights amongst each other, if anything. It doesn't have to be a legacy move, but this we get to brag about somebody. You know what I'm saying? This ain't got to be a legacy move. We ain't got to, God forbid LeBron wins it, bro. We already know what the talk of the town going to be after that.
Gilbert Arenas said on the show is like, you know how that's gonna make him the greatest of all time because Michael Jordan never won an in-season tournament.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's God forbid, just like God forbid LeBron had won during the COVID year. Like anybody else could have won, would have got all the credit in the world. Had Giannis won, he would have been a back-to-back champ. Had Jokic won, and then still got this one, he would have been a two-time champ, two-time MVP, like all that. So God forbid the Lakers and LeBron win and he get to brag and talk a little bit of his shit. But I think it's more just players.
But I think if they want LeBron versus Giannis in that for your first ever in-season tournament championship, they want LeBron versus Giannis in Vegas.
Is that a passing of the torch moment? Because like I don't think the torch is, bro, just realistically.
I think LeBron still has the torch.
Like, because if he doesn't, then who does? Like, that's my thing is people will be like, he don't got it no more. But if he doesn't, who does? Who has
that question right there? Kind of, we could try to talk about that. Goes into this kind of in a way.
I don't think it affect nobody legacy. I'm gonna be honest. It affects everybody's legacy except LeBron.
Except LeBron, we know that
everybody but LeBron can win it. You get the LeBron versus Giannis matchup. It's a passing of the torch. You got Dame. I mean, you could sell that as a championship too.
You could sell it. Yeah, you could.
Who play? It's the Lakers, Pelicans, and
Indiana versus the Bucks in the semis in Vegas.
Oh no, that's nasty.
They need the Bucks to win. And listen, Halliburton and Indiana are hooping and they can score, but you know what they want. And we just lost Mo. We just lost Mo connection. He got the McDonald's Wi-Fi. How does this affect someone's life? I mean, I think it's still early, to find out if this affects anyone's legacy because it's just brand. It's the first year, it's the inaugural year of the tournament, so it's kind of hard to see. But you know how media is, Cruz. You know how media is. They'll flip it and if LeBron loses this, like Mo said, and we got Mo back. If LeBron loses this,
my damn Google Chrome that updated. My fault.
Yeah. Oh yeah, on the top. Yeah. But if LeBron were to lose this, there's going to be some media like, oh, LeBron lost and all that. But but you know what they want. They want Bucks versus. That's going to be a big time.
Listen, though, you want me to tell you though. This is where I was logging back.
Especially if they celebrate, Mo. If they celebrate and they win this, people are going to get on LeBron's ass.
But listen to me, though. This is where I think, what about a Pelicans versus Pacers? That sound nasty, right? You don't want to see that.
But a new era?
The Pacers win. What do you think the conversation is the next day? Guess who you get to bring up?
Hallie.
The best point guard in the league, in Luka. You get to bring up Steph. And you get to bring up Halliburton because you are going to be asking, is Halliburton in that conversation? Is he leading that conversation? Like there's a lot that you can do to promote a smaller market. You know what I'm saying? You can promote a smaller market. Like, because let's say we all like, either that's Juan or Mario. Shout out to one of them, whoever's on the Knicks wilding. it'll be a nice convo, but it won't affect the player's legacy, which is why it sounds better to have a Zion and a Halliburton and be able to put them in different conversations than it does LeBron and Giannis and have to have the legacy conversation.
One of them losing.
That, we get to promote the faces of the league for the hero.
So you're saying that it's better for the up and coming stars like Halliburton and Zion to be in there than to have not the old guard and like Giannis and Mo, man, he got that McDonald's Wi-Fi. I get what Mo's saying. That it's not for Giannis and LeBron, this is whatever, but for a guys like Halliburton and Zion, especially Zion, who's been essentially labeled as a star. He's been, Zion, who's been labeled as a star, but has dealt with a lot of injuries and all that. For him, this could be massive
issues
and off court. But when he's on the court, we know he can hoop and all that. He's a bucket and all that. But this could be huge for him if he has a big and he's an in-season tournament. And then for Hallie, who's kind of been like skyrocket because everybody, he's been put on that people want that. But we haven't seen him do it in the playoffs. This is kind of a playoff kind of atmosphere, and it might give you people who haven't watched him be like, oh, we got something there, and there's, it allows you to be like, okay, man, I can't wait till we see Indiana playoffs now because maybe Hallie might turn out and be that dude.
The ratings for that night.
So yeah, I think it's gonna be good regardless ratings, but I think.
The ratings for that night become more, but so for that night particularly, the Lakers versus Bucks. Now with these 4 teams being left, the Lakers versus Bucks does you the most good that night. I think the Pelicans and Pacers do you the most good over the next course of the regular season because now guess what? Guess who teams are watching? Guess who people are watching? More Pelicans games and more Pacers games. Everybody's still gonna go watch Milwaukee. Everybody's still going to go watch the Lakers, but we buying in more of the casual fans to watch Halliburton. And now, ESPN going to do his job and pitch Halliburton, and they're going to put the Hallie.
And I think they would ride on Hallie because it seems like Halliburton is definitely
but you could do it with Zion too, because not only is Zion name hot in the basketball world, but Zion made a whole summer of just being out here in the streets. So now people who don't even watch the NBA would still be curious and what Zion got going on? Like, ain't heard from
No.
promote him. So it don't do you good that night, but it do you good over the next couple months that you just got 2 more teams that aren't particularly national TV sellers that anyway.
That McDonald's Wi-Fi, man. See, Cruz, you got to get you guys some better Wi-Fi. No, but that makes sense because especially with like Zion has definitely been on. I wouldn't say during the season but he's kind of been quiet and all that. And even though you look at his numbers and all that, he's been doing his thing and all that. But got Mo back for the third time, man.
Google Chrome, bro. It just keeps closing out.
Hey, I got no excuse, bro. I got Google Chrome. Working fine.
I had relaunched the update, and then next, bro, I don't know, bro. It's just going out, and it's in the middle of talking my noise too. Like it's not.
But your point on Zion actually, because this actually helps him out tremendously because he's kind of got negative publicity since the offseason, and he's kind of been quiet. You haven't really heard about him. So if it is Pelicans, Pacers, this puts more eyeballs on those teams, and 2 of the worst markets too, right? 2 of the worst markets, especially New Orleans. Like that's a tough market, and Indiana is middle of the pack and all that. But I think this puts more eyeballs on for the rest of the season, where you're like, yo, Zion's hooping, like, and now you see him on national TV, and he just beat LeBron to go to the championship, and then he just took down Hallie and all that. I think this could. I think first year they might want to see Lakers. Lakers Bucks because it is your 2, those are your 2 guys, the 2 faces of the league. But I think long term, you probably after this year, you probably would want to see some of the younger guys and be in that. But I think for year 1, I think they probably low key rooting for the top. But if they flip it into to try to, if it does with Zion versus Hallie, and that can get more eyeballs on those teams and all that, I think it's a win for them too. So, but I think they want Bucks versus Lakers because that's the sexier match, especially in the one and done. You know, we haven't had that one and done, and then I think this adds the new element because it's one and done. This game is like it's not a 7-game series. It's not like all right, we lost this one. No, this is it. You know, winner take all. This is one and done, like college basketball. You know, it brings that kind of that exciting element that we haven't had in the regular season. You know, especially a quarter way in the season. You know, we don't have that. So either way, either matchup, regardless of the matchups, you know, I think it's going to be fun. You know,
but you don't want like the Lakers versus Pacers or the Bucks versus the Pelicans though. Like you either want it like Bron versus Giannis or like it's either or. You don't want the mix up of what that could be. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think you want the Lakers Pacers. That ain't selling me on.
It'll be high scoring. I mean, the Pacers.
Yeah, that's cool, but like it don't bring like either LeBron versus Giannis and with Dame and AD.
What if you get the upset though? Is that intriguing at all? The upset or no?
Like it's better if I get Indy, I get the Pelicans. Like if I get the Lakers, I get Milwaukee. Like that's how it. Don't flip flop it. Nobody want to watch the Bucks versus the Pelicans. Nobody want to watch the Lakers versus Pacers. But if you could sell me on the Pelicans versus the Pacers with that build up from tomorrow night into on Friday, you could sell me on it. You know what I'm saying? All the sports shows get to sell you on the in-season tournament that's happening tomorrow, Saturday, everybody, Fox, and everybody get to sell you on it. They can sell it one of those ways. They can't sell it mix and match.
No, I get you. Yeah. That probably would be more ideal.
You would think Zion versus Giannis would be cool, but we not all the way in on Zion yet. Like still, you know what I'm saying?
I think Zion needs this bad,
but we're still like hesitant.
Not bad, but he needs
all in on Zion when the man on the court. Like I hate to say it, but like just because his first couple of years, like you're just kind of waiting on that injury. Like nothing major, but just that he's out 4 to 6 weeks and then he never really fully bounces back. And it's like, dang, are we gonna get to healthy him? Because when he is, like, the dude is a walking bucket and this and that. So like, I just don't think you pitch that against Giannis. Like it sound better against the Pacers, like battle of the young guys, battle of the next, future 10-time All-Star type stuff with Zion and Hallie being, the next point guard to take the torch and be battling in the East. And you could see a Luka versus Hallie matchup one day, and you're like, man, these are the two best point guards going at it on some Magic Isaiah Thomas type stuff or something. Like, there's a lot you could do with that, but you just don't want to mix and match it. Like, it's either old with the old or new with the new.
So, how you feel about Halliburton? Because he's definitely, I've been on Halliburton since before the draft.
Yeah, I just know he ain't the best point guard in the NBA.
But
stop that.
Do you feel like he's getting too much praise, especially that we haven't seen it in the playoffs yet? Do you feel like there's too much Halliburton love, or is it acceptable? I guess is the word.
Nah, it's cool. Like I'm not that dude. He too young for me to be like he hadn't done it in the playoffs. He hasn't hit his prime yet, bro.
Exactly.
He ain't like the Pacers are just not relevant, like really relevant. Like you seen him, rising to be like, oh man, that dude gonna be pretty good. But like this dude all NBA level, like first team all NBA level, like him and Luka at the guard spot. So like I wouldn't say, man, I mean, you can be a hater and be like, man, we got to see it in the playoffs. But like sometimes I get tired of that conversation when you start to see these young cats, and it's every generation, no matter what, it ain't about. But what you start to see is like when these young, but they got to do it, and they start measuring, he ain't going to be this person. He ain't going to be that. He ain't the next Steph. But it's like, bro, like Steph wasn't the next Steph until he finally became Steph. Like,
Steph didn't blow up. Let's see, he came out in what, 2009?
2014 is like,
think about 2014, 15. So that's 5, 6. And he was an older player too. Because he came out, he was like, what is a 3-year player and all that. So like,
so like,
he didn't get to his after 25 till he was.
You gotta let these dudes let him get to the playoffs before we talk about we want to see it in the playoffs. Like, let him get there. Yeah. Let us see an opportunity of what it.
And he's going to get there this year. He's getting there this year.
But like, let us see. Like, until you like, I don't like the people like, bro, this is a young guy, and you like, oh, we got to see it in the playoffs. Like, can he get there first? Like, it ain't like dude been here 7-8 years in the league, ain't never played in the playoffs, ain't never been out the first round. Okay, Tracy
On a
McGrady.
year 4 for him.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is about the time, like, you need to
just
make
had
the
to
playoffs.
throw that
Yeah,
T-Mac
you like that? You
disrespect,
like that?
bro.
Like,
That's
this
nasty
is
work,
not the
bro.
time. Like, okay, if you're going to look like a playoff team, let's say you get the 5 seed and you get the matchup where we're like, we don't see you winning, but you look good losing. Like, oh, they got something to build on. They really got a guy. They really got their guy. He could validate everything he's doing in the playoffs, but I'm not waiting to give him his flowers until he does it in the playoffs, because then that's just meat riding at that point.
Yeah, so after they make that leap after a year, I think we kind of get spoiled with some of these young players. Some of these, and they like Luka and LeBron. They make immediate
But
impact
even
and all that.
KDs, like the one and done guys that immediately become all-star
KD
level
took a
players,
little bit, yeah.
the Carmelos and like the guys that come one and done and are instantly like everything that they were built
All
up.
NBA guys, yeah, from the jump. It feels like
You feel like that's how it's supposed to be, and then you don't necessarily appreciate the fact that like in his prime, Jokic is becoming a legendary player.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't that. You didn't necessarily see it. Giannis too. Like Giannis entering his prime was entering like, oh, he's becoming a legendary player. We didn't think he'd be this good. Like, because if you thought Jokic was going to be what he was, you take him number one. Like if anybody thought Giannis was going to be what he was, you take him number one.
Especially
like,
in that draft.
that
draft is nasty.
Number one because you felt like he was going to be what you thought he was. Like when you find, so that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, to see Halliburton, I ain't got to see it in the playoffs yet. Like maybe this year if they get there, but I don't
get there. Once they get there, then we'll be like, all right, now we got to continue to see that.
Anything. What if he put up 25, 10, and 8? You know what I'm saying? Balling, but like Buddy Hield don't show up, Miles Turner don't show up, and they just outmatched. And we're like, oh, he got swept, but like, yeah, he was hooping though. Like he made for.
Well, you know he'll get the blame though because
team.
He's a star and all that.
But it would just be like, bro, now the Indiana Pacers get to walk into the offseason and be like, okay, that just answers our question. We got our guy, and now let's build. Like now we can fully
come and make a trade.
Yeah, but like now we can, you know what I'm saying?
And you got pieces too to make a trade too.
You got pieces. You can, attack this draft. Maybe use these draft picks for somebody else. Attack this free agency. Like you can do a lot because now you have your guy and you can start building the right way around whatever this player does well.
Get PG back there.
Nah, man. They
don't rock with him.
You developing with youth. You need a few vets, but you got some in there. You got Buddy Hield in there. You got Miles Turner in there, right? Like you got enough vets where like, man, you get some of that young talent that could be together for the next 4 to 5.
They need Mathurin to take that next step because he struggled so far this year, and I thought he'd take that leap. They need him to figure it out, because to me he's big.
Or he's in the trade market.
Or that too.
Not saying they should trade him. I'm just saying he could be a worthy enough name.
Could be
a
big enough piece for a team. I think a team would be like, if they want to get a star,
sure.
kind of make a trade like what Cleveland did and get like a Donovan Mitchell type player.
That's what I'm saying. Like you ain't gonna get no cream of the crop superstar, but you could get that. He might be one.
Let me ask you a question. I saw this on Gil's show, and I was very intrigued when they were talking about this. So they essentially were talking about like players. You know how we have draft classes, obviously, right? But we never talk about age classes, right? We always talk about, all right, you came out in the 2001 draft, and we always lump those guys together, right? Regardless if they're 18 or 22, right?
Yeah.
And he was talking about like how we should, everybody's talking about Chet and Wemby and like, but there's an age difference and all that. And like the similarities you get, but like Wemby is 19. He's putting up the same numbers as Chet, but Chet's already 21 and he's got a few years on and he played college ball and all that, and I was like, oh, that's actually interesting. And then he talked about Buddy Hield. Because remember, Buddy Hield came out and he was ready to go, right? He was a kind of impact player. Oh, no. Brandon Ingram and Kuzma. Perfect. Because they came out the same year, right? They got drafted by Lakers. But Kuzma was an immediate impact player right away. And, he was, and people were like, oh, he's a better player. He's like, yeah, he's a better player right now. But we all know BI is going to be better long term, right? And that will end up being the case, right? So should we start doing that more often when we try to lump some people together? Like we should actually, where are you at age 22 compared to the other 22-year-olds? Regardless of it's like, should we do that more instead of lumping people together by like draft classes and all that? Should we just be like, hey, are you the best 22-year-old in the league? and compare you to the other 22-year-olds, especially when you come into contract negotiation. Because he said that about Hield, like why Hield didn't get what his money was to get. He's like, you're the best player. You might be one of the better players in your class, but you're not the best 26-year-old in the league.
Yeah, like you're not the best player in their prime.
Yeah,
right?
you're already, because you're an older player. You know, you're better than those guys, but those guys are 23, 22 in their draft class, you know, and they're better than you, and they're going to be better than you. So, like, should we do that more instead of lumping people together in classes? Like, yeah, are you who, you know, where, or like how we should project guys? Like, are 22, you should be in this level if you want to talk about getting this type of money and all that. You know, yeah. I don't know if you watched it, but you should watch it.
I saw it.
Yeah. So, like, I was wondering, like, your take on it, because that was something I was thinking about. And I was like, that actually, I never thought of it that way, but like, that's probably why. Like, he brought up who's Michael Carter Williams. Remember Michael Carter Williams, rookie of the year?
Yeah,
and he was like a 3-4 year player, and they were like, he's like, yeah, I want rookie of the year though. I was like, yeah, but you were older than everybody, so you should have been better actually, because you played 3-4 years and all that, and you weren't that much better than the guy whoever was behind you. You know, that was 18, 19. You know, and they were like, yeah, you don't fit our timeline. So then we traded, and I think they, you know, that's when they went to do all the whole tank and shit. You know, so like, should we do that more and all that? Because I don't feel like enough people, like, we don't do that. Like, well, we're 22-year-olds and all that. We just lump someone up. Like we're talking about Wemby and Chet. Chet's got 2 years on Wemby. But Wemby's stats are similar, you know, and that's with 2 years less years and all that. So, like, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Now, okay, first off, just to address the Wemby and like Chet argument is only, I don't care who's better. I don't want to argue who's better because I really don't care. They're both really good players. I know the 2 years with Chet, but like Chet and Wemby are putting up the same numbers, but like Chet is not the guy on his team. Chet is not the franchise savior on his team. Chet is not the guy that make all the plays happen, and he's still putting up the same numbers as Wemby. Now, I know Wemby got Devin Vassell, and they got, you know, I know he ain't bringing the ball up the court and all that, but like, it's not an age difference on why their numbers are the same. I think Chet right now is probably a little bit better, but he's also playing with like SGA and Josh Giddey and Dort and Jalen Williams. Like, there's so many pieces over there that like you're not really going to get yours off. Where Wemby getting his off on, you know, a bad team that's really not playing for nothing this year. But to address it at the end of the day, yeah, because like, bro, a guy who's been in college for 4 years entering the draft is not the same as a guy who's one and done. Like, you got more experience, you've played, like, you should be more NBA ready for the simple fact you walking into this league at 22. I'm 19. Like, I haven't even fully matured. I'm still, you know, that 6'8" dude might be 6'11 by the time he's 22, 23. That 6'5" guy might get to 6'7". Like, I'm not done growing. I'm not done developing my body where you're almost done. Like, at 22, you reaching that point where you finna max out of what you are. So, yeah, you should be compared, because if we both been in it 4 years in the league, but you 26, 27, I'm 22. Like, you're entering your prime asking for the same money that I'm asking for, and I may not have even met expectations yet, but they see the potential. Where with you, it's like, bro, you got to be able to help us. Like, if you want this kind of money,
you got to be good right away.
If you want Zion money, first off, you got to be good right away. But if you're 22 coming into the draft the same year as Zion, in 3 years, 4 years down the line, when you're 25, 26, asking for the same money that 21-year-old Zion's asking for, or 21-year-old John Morant's asking for,
yeah.
You got to think about. What are you supposed to be in your prime? If you finna ask for that rookie max contract, you're in your prime years, though. That 26, 27 to 32, 33 window, them finna be the best years of, like, your career. I'm not giving you that money if you're not entering that. I will give that 21-year-old that money because I got him under this whole contract too, under his rookie extension for the next 5 years before I expect him to be that. You signing a rookie extension in 5 years, your career over. Now you getting in where you can fit in. If I sign you a rookie max at 26 years old in 5 years, you're probably not going to be on my team, let alone your career over. Like, more than likely.
Yeah, because, like, for instance, you guys have Jaime Jaquez. Like, he's 20. He's a 22-year-old, right? So he played 3-4 years. He needed to be ready to play essentially from the jump, right? To be like, and he's shown, right? And listen, where his ceiling may be lower, right? You know, he might have but he has a high floor though, right? So like he's gonna maybe able to impact right away, but you know, he might not be that. He might not be a 25 point per game guy, but he needed to come out of the jump, not exactly from the jump, but you needed to see something this year to be like, okay, he's going to be in our road. He's going to be a player for us for the next 4 or 5 years. Where if the 19-year-old, you know, like, all right, he might have to be in the G. Like this guy's who, you know, Amen Thompson, you know, the Thompson, Asor, I think Asor, one of them, whatever, which one of them. They's in the G League. There's a lot of top 10 picks that are in the G League because they're 19 years old, 18, 19, you know, and their potential is through the roof, but you have to wait for that. And that's why I brought up like the Kuzma and BI. Like I knew BI was that dude. Obviously, being a Duke fan, I saw him hoop, but I knew like it's going to take him a little bit because he's got to get in the gym. He got to get stronger, you know, like he was scrawny, you know, and it took him he didn't pop till year 4, but when he popped, it was like, okay, this guy's a hoop. And then we saw Kuzma, who was a good player from the jump, but he's always been there. And now he's when, you know, obviously in Washington, he's scoring them, but they're on a bad team and all that. But we've seen like, all right, BI's, you know, taking over that. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on that because I thought that was an interesting topic that they had as far as let's not lump guys up in their draft class. Let's lump them about their age group. Like, how are they compared to other guys who are 21? Because we know there's other, you know. So how do they compare to the other two? Are you on that level of the best 21-year-old, or you know, are you like if you're 24 right now, Luka's 24 right now, where are you in that? Are you near Luka or in that whatever that like SGA and all that? Like if you're in that, then yeah, you can ask for that money. But if you're not, you know, and you're gonna take a walk, you know. But I thought that was interesting and all that. But who for you right now in the league? Who's been some of your disappointing teams so far? You know, I know it's early in the season, but who's been some disappointing teams for you?
I mean, like that really like disappointed, like you thought we're going to be better?
Teams that you're going to be, I mean, we know that.
Like there's certain teams where surprise suck, right? Like there's certain teams that stink that like yeah, all you Pistons lovers, that's who should be upset. Everybody put them in as a playing team. Every last one of you losers, including yourself. Everyone.
I did not put them into playing. I didn't put them into
playing potential, bro.
I said potential. Keyword potential. Potential.
That's trying to protect yourself. You was on the same wave everybody else was. Nah, not over here. I know how that BS works. Hell no. Nope. So I
didn't think they'd be 17 losses in a row bad though. They started off 2-1.
So like I'm gonna tell you, Chicago. Like, and I'm gonna tell you why they've been disappointing. I don't think first off, they was a playing team last year, right? But like, I don't think that their roster is bad enough to be this bad. But like at this point, they're spending time, like, instead of just starting to kind of like pull triggers and put it out there that DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine are available, they're trying to like salvage the ship for his most value. And it's like, bro, the value gone. Like you walked into this season and like basically all your players not playing like how they know how to play.
Yeah, that value is shot.
Like your value is now shot. So like you're just poking the bear, like you're making it bleed worse by keeping this together. Like you're not a good team. You're never going to be a good team with this core at this point, but all these guys could help other teams be a lot better. Like you could get value and just start back over. So like you should just start back over. And it's disappointing that they ain't just doing that. Like put DeMar DeRozan in New York or Miami or just throwing it one of our teams.
I wouldn't be mad at DeRozan in New York. It wouldn't cost us much.
Like just throw him, and those were apparently two teams that he would prefer to go to. So that's what made me say that. But like, go ahead and put him somewhere like that where he could really help in New York or really help in Miami or the Lakers or Clippers or hell, like you know what I'm saying? Like just anywhere that you know if DeMar DeRozan went here, that team would be better. And that team is a team that you could say that about that's in the playoff mix that could make some noise in the postseason. A Knicks or a Heat or a Lakers, and he go back to LA or a Denver. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. Like you're just letting DeMar DeRozan, a really, 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 really good player, just rot now. Like now his name is rotting, and it's like, bro, he really could build back his, I don't want to say legacy. He ain't a legendary player, but build back his like respect by like really helping the team in the playoffs. And that's somewhere he hasn't really been or been successful in some years. So like his career is just going to waste now. And like you want him to wait for free agency, like bro, go ahead and get rid of him, bro. He got to want out of there. He's not re-signing in Chicago. So at this point, just ask out now. Like just be public about it. Hey, bro, I don't want to be here no more. I'm not re-signing with y'all.
Where's some good fits for him though?
Miami
and New York, right? I think Miami and New York would be good fits for him.
Yeah, I think.
To be honest,
maybe
it wouldn't cost you much either. It wouldn't cost you anything.
I could see him with the Lakers. I think it makes some sense with having to win games, having played LeBron 40+ minutes all the time. I could see like, hey, we need to stabilize the minutes when LeBron's not on the floor. And it'd be like, I know it sounded like the Russell Westbrook situation, but DeMar DeRozan spreads the floor a lot more than Russell Westbrook at these two stages of their career. So like he makes sense for the Lakers for that fact. Like he spaces it more. It would be what you thought Westbrook would be, but the spacing on the floor would be there when they're on the court together, and he can hold it down when LeBron comes off. And he don't have to play 40+ minutes. I see those three pretty much. I mean, the same three teams that be in trade talks every year with somebody like.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of Knicks stuff.
Philly would make sense.
Philly too. I was just about to say Philly
would make sense because like
Philly would make
it
sense.
Could be what Harden was supposed to be coming into this season, but like I think he would fit a lot better because like he can play make too, just like Harden. I mean, I won't say to the same extent, you know what I'm saying, but he can play make and stuff.
Yeah, there's some playmaking there. Yeah,
he don't spread the floor like Harden as far as being effective on shooting. But like Maxey can do that. So you could kind of reverse, like go back to the role of Harden being the playmaker. Now it doesn't stretch the floor, but with Maxey having taken that next step, he's good enough and respected enough that he can kind of go crazy. So I could see Philly. Like Philly would make a lot of sense. Or I don't see him coming off the bench nowhere. Like wherever he goes, he got to start, right?
Starter.
He's
still playing really.
He's still a starter. Even like a Philly team, a Lakers team, like he sounds perfect, like 6-man. Even with the Heat, now I think he would start with the Heat. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we would start Kyle Lowry over him, but I'm saying like even with the Heat, that 6-man role would fit so perfect because it'd be like, bro, you get to just be in every key moment that matters in the game, and you get plenty of minutes to work this offense and do what you do yourself. Like that would be the perfect situation for him, but he's a high caliber starter right now. It just role fit of what he can do really well is 6-man, but he is a high caliber starter, and it would be like your team would have to be loaded for DeMar DeRozan to not be a starting guard on your team.
Yeah, he would have to be on like Milwaukee or.
And I still think you make it work with Milwaukee. Like you probably you move Brook Lopez,
you flip him for Middleton because Middleton hasn't been that good. He's definitely showing his body.
Yeah, like that it look a lot. It has the potential to look a lot different, bro. Like, so
yeah, I think the Bulls they gotta blow it up because obviously since the Lonzo Ball injury threw a wrench in this whole team because you know they were a top 3 seed before he got hurt and they just have never recovered from that. So it's time to blow it up. You probably get obviously. Levine's your big piece where you can get the most from because he's the younger player and
that contract
but that contract is tough. They're in a tough situation. They're in a very tough situation.
Levine will be cool in Miami, but I'm cool on that contract. Like I'm good on that committing to that contract. Like I would love Levine in Miami right now, but that contract I'm cool on committing.
I wonder with like the Knicks, and I know they're like. There was a rumor that he wasn't interested in New York and all that, but I don't know. These are all rumors, so like sometimes you can't believe everything and all that. But and now you're hearing that the Knicks, ever since that loss yesterday, that like they can they're looking for someone, a star, you know, and all that. And like I don't know who that star is and all that. But I don't know. I don't know what the Knicks are doing and all that. If that's even something though about, like I said, I'm not crazy about Levine and whether he's that type of player to make that, you know, an impact type of player like that.
Yeah, I'm just cool on that contract. That's it.
The contract is kind of, you know,
if he had like 4 years left on that money, I'd be like, go for it.
Yeah. But, and I don't know what the Bulls would want to return if that was like, it would be RJ because that would make more sense. But it's like, can you have a Levine, Randall, Brunson, and that be your big three? Is that
It's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, but is it possible? Is that going to get you past them? If you can't get better than the Bucks and the Celtics, then what are you doing?
I think it looks better on 2K than it does on the court.
It looks better
in
on 2K.
Real life success, but like JB, Levine, and Randall on 2K would go crazy though.
That is
like, that'd be fun.
Randall goes in on 2K. He's still
that'd be fun. Be a fun little team to play with.
Yeah, the Villanova Knicks and all that. But we got thumped last night in the play. Who's on the opposite of that? We'll talk about disappointing before we got off. I know we got a few minutes left, but who's been surprising on the other side that's been playing good ball? That you surprised
who's
at?
Been really, really good that I'm surprised at.
Minnesota's been
Orlando. I'm going Orlando. No, let me tell you why. Because they got a brewing future 10-time All-Star over there. Maybe borderline superstar. I think he's entering like in. The talk is about Paolo not Paolo. I just revealed who I was talking about.
You just messed up your whole soliloquy.
It up. I was
about to do something special there, and you just gotta rewind it, man.
So we got to battle rap it. We got to rewind it. So, bro, all the talk is about Chet and Victor as far as the big guys, and then Minnesota and Anthony Edwards, and he got his own shoe now. Like he's a brand. He on TV with
Jordan.
He went with Sonny Marco and all that. You know what I'm saying? So like all these cats is getting all this love, bro. And it's like Paolo's just over there, third, fourth in the Eastern Conference right now. Hooping. Ain't saying too much.
They're getting the bucket tonight, but they've overall.
Man, that happens. It's still there, but they're sitting at 14-6, so about to be 14-7. They're sitting at third in the Eastern Conference. Like they got an all-star
9-2 at home too. Their home court advantage is pretty good.
Bro,
that crowd rocking too. That crowd's rocking.
That's why I think Orlando has been the biggest surprise, because like Orlando was the team, and they still very well, bro. They might have started off hot, and when everybody else, all the real teams, like the really good teams that are chasing championships, heat up in the middle of the season, towards the end of the season, maybe they drop back into that play-in. But people had like play-in expectations, but it was like that borderline. Like they should make the play-in if they want to be where they should be this year. But there was some hesitancy, like we don't know though. But if they want to say they're building on something, they got like that's bare minimum. Not thinking that, through the first 22, 23 games, they would be sitting at third place in the Eastern Conference. Better than a lot of teams that you had higher expectations for too. But
they won 9 of the last 10 games, man. It's been a good ride for them.
And they started off slow. Like essentially they're 14-6, about to be 14-7, but like they had a below 500. They done won 9 of their last 10.
Well, think about it. Last year they started off 5-20, and I think they're over 500 since that 5-20 start. Like, and with some really good wins too.
It's a really good team, and like I think we undersold. Like you did, it was tough. When's the last time you bought into the Magic? Like Dwight Howard was on the Orlando Magic team. The last time you bought into how good a Magic team could be. So it's tough to.
And they used to be in that. They used to be that team that like was in the mid. They'd be the 8th seed every year, and they get swept.
Yeah, like they
just, and all that. And it's like, what's the point? And it's like, when are you guys just gonna like blow it up? And like Aaron Gordon was their number one option, and they kept forcing that, and like. That was never going to be a thing. And like it seems like they figured it out. They have a nice nucleus. They got Cole Anthony come off the bench. He's a 6-man candidate. Franz Wagner is hooping, obviously Paolo's doing his thing. Jalen Suggs is playing. He got hurt today. So hopefully he's okay. Cause he was holding his ankle. Hopefully it's just a sprain and all that. Hopefully it's nothing, no Achilles and all that, but he's been playing all NBA defense, so, and that's with missing Fultz and Wendell Carter for a lot of time. So it's been good. They've been playing good ball and all that. So yeah, they're definitely one of the surprising teams and all that. Even OKC, man, I know they're gonna make a jump, but I mean they're playing good on the road too. That's when you see it on with a especially with a young team. You see the record at home and all that, if it's good and all that. But when you're winning games on the road, like OKC is, to me that shows a lot.
Like you protect your home court, but like when you up and coming team, being taken serious with a good home record, good away record, It's
That
definitely
shows a lot.
like it's promising. Like it
Yeah.
looked very promising, especially
Yeah.
come playoff time when you might have to play more games on the road than at
Yeah,
home.
I think they have the best record on the road right now, and usually, that's even if you're playing, if you win a couple games over 500 on the road, you're considered a good team. They're right now 5 games over, 7-2 record and all that. They're playing good. SGA
Budding superstar. Like I'm hesitant to put all them young cats there yet, like the Halliburtons and the SGAs. Like
I can't put you on superstar level if you've been in the playoffs. Yeah,
I
you
think
get that label.
I
when you go
can't
deep.
put you there until we in that weird the old era. There's
That's the thing too. Yeah. I was about to say
still
that.
exists. Steph still exists. Like, and I'm not saying, but like the Draymond Clay era, like that era still exists. Kyrie still exists. Like, and then if you're not Luka, you know what I'm saying? Like Kawhi and Paul George are still in the league. Like a lot of these guys that were superstars in their prime and still are superstars currently are still in the league. Like they're not weeding out yet. Like kind of need LeBron and KD to just fall off a little bit for you to start really like the SGAs. They need to swoop in because they might not become superstars till they really hit their prime. They might be 28, 29 before we really consider them superstars. The way KD hooping, the way Bron hooping, like
But
35 and older guys, Steph, like they look like
they ball. But and the last thing before we sign off, isn't it crazy? Like the guys, I know I'm a little older, but like the guys that like were past their primes when I was getting older were cooked, right? They're either like averaging 6 a game and all that, and when they're 35 and all that. Now,
just say
35-year-olds are LeBron, KD, Steph. Like 30 a game still.
There's some of the best players in the league. Then you got the creeping guys that are 33, 34 in the Dame and Jimmy's. Like you got Damian Lillard and Jimmy Butler. They 33, 34 years old. They hooping. They top 10 players. Like then you still the young guys that you really giving the Devin Bookers and stuff. Like they've kind of earned their keep. Devin Booker, had that year.
Booker's on year. We keep thinking he's young to play. This is year 10 for him. It's crazy, right?
And he's been in the league for 10 years.
He came out in 14, right? So year 9, 10, whatever. But we still consider him a young player because he's 18.
Old, man.
He's like 26 years
old. He ain't
old.
even on the 25 and under list no more.
No, he's not on that list no more. But it's just like Tatum came out 16? Like, these guys have been around. Even the young player.
I ain't gonna lie. I think Tatum, man, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna sound like a hater, but I think Tatum has had the most success you can have without winning jack squat. That man he ain't won nothing. What has he won? He ain't won a championship. He ain't won an MVP. He ain't won none of that. Like I think has he been first team all NBA? He's had to make first team
last year. Yeah, last year he was all.
So he got that once, but like think about it, bro. This man has been to the finals. This man has been to multiple Eastern Conference finals.
He's been in the playoffs every year.
Bro, like he goes to game 7 against LeBron last year in Cleveland. He go to game 7 twice against Miami, wins one, loses. Well, actually goes against them. Yeah, they went against each other twice.
He needed last year.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
He needed last year. That would have been iconic for him, but it didn't happen.
Come back down 3-0 and then end up playing in the NBA Finals. Like, yeah, and be a lot more competitive against Denver. Like, yeah, that would have been. But like, bro, he's had as much success, but like has like nothing to really show for it. Like, and it's not hating on Jason Tatum. I think he one of them. Like, he's a superstar. He's one of them ones.
Do you think
like, at some point, when do you stop judging Tatum as like in this window of not yet and opposed to be like, all right, he's failing constantly? Like, when do you start that? Because
when he acts out for a team, because that seems like that's the only way. Because if he gets on his James Harden stuff and starts axing out and starts
but
playing,
if he
like
don't get on his Harden stuff, you still start to look at him like Harden. Though
and Harden's an MVP.
As great as you are, bro, you don't end up like winning the big ones. Like you've gotten there, you've gotten all these. Like it's cool, but like you don't end up winning the big ones. Like, and that's why I say, like, think about how you would look. Think about how Jimmy Butler would look right now. Had he either beat the Lakers in the finals in COVID year, he would have got all the respect. A Miami Heat Jimmy Butler team would have got at least a lot more respect. It wouldn't be the Mickey Mouse championship and Mickey James and all that. It wouldn't have been Mickey Jimmy. Like they wouldn't have did that, even though it got a little ring to it. But like A guy like that, like he's been there, he's done that, but he hasn't. Like you've been to 3 Eastern Conference finals, you've been to 2 finals, like, but you haven't gotten the job done. Like at some point, like that would be the rebuttal of people saying like the Miami fans that are just happy to be in that situation. And like, bro, at some point you got to win. Like you can't just be happy with getting there. So like at some point you got to start judging Tatum. Like if you're going to be a superstar, you got to get there and win. We did it
this
to
is the year, bro.
LeBron. We did it to Kawhi. Like there's not a guy that we didn't do it to. We did it to Giannis. We were questioning Giannis when he won an MVP before he won a championship. You know what I'm saying?
Joker.
Jokic, back-to-back MVP, ain't won nothing yet. Now he wins a championship. Like we've been demanding this from players of that caliber. So it's not like, oh, I'm just asking Tatum.
Yeah.
Like we ain't say this about all these other guys. LeBron's first 8 years in the league when he didn't win. He got there, it looked great, but you ain't win nothing. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Durant, all these dudes, like until KD got to Golden State, it was constantly coming up short. Went to the finals and lost. Blew a 3-1 lead in the Western Conference Finals. Like that's what he was known for because he hit that point where like, bro, you're expected to win the championship. So like Tatum at this point now is there. Like anything short, especially with the way Boston looking right now, like anything short of winning the championship, bro, your season's a failure. Like, and now you're starting to be judged as a superstar that's getting there and not getting the job done. Because now you're entering your prime. These are supposed to be the next these next 6 to 8 years. Now it used to be like these next 5 to 7, but like these next 6 to 9 years of your career this is your legacy right here. Like everything's good, but if you just keep getting there and coming up short, especially as many times as you've almost gotten there, you've been to the finals once, but you've been to 3 Eastern Conference Finals. Like, yeah, you've been there. So like you keep falling up short, you're entering your prime, you finna get that bag. You get judged on your bag. Superstar NBA players get judged like NFL quarterbacks. So like it's the same type of judgment. Like once you get that bag, we judge you off of what we paying you because what we're paying you is supposed to result in playing and winning championships. Same thing with quarterbacks. So like at some point, Jason Tatum got to hit that. Like people got to start talking about that. Like, okay, bro, he was young, but now we got to start demanding like you need one. Jokic got one. Like Embiid, he needs one.
Embiid's going to be in that. He's going to get there soon.
That, you know, like he's there.
He's been around forever too.
You got to win. Like he's in his.
But you know what's crazy? Like if you look at the last 3 like superstars that won championships, right? So we go to Joker last year. He went through that, right? Back-to-back MVPs and all that. Like should he have won 3 in a row? Like we were questioning should he win 3 in a row because he didn't win a championship. He wins a championship. Year before that, Steph. Is the dynasty over? Can Steph carry a team? He wins a championship, right? And wins finals MVP, but one thing is missing. Year before that, Giannis, back-to-back MVP, defensive player of the year. You know, they get bounced early by you guys and all that. So like Tatum this could be that moment for him.
Cut out for like it's
cut out for him to be that guy.
That guy now. Like when Giannis, like he hasn't won the MVP, so we don't. But he's that guy of like
he's an MVP caliber player.
Yeah, and Boston has had so much success, and we understand. The thing is, we know how good this team is. Because another guy that you could say is starting to enter that category would be Luka. But like you know, Dallas ain't on the totem pole though that Boston is as far as trying to win.
Yeah.
Like yes, of course, Luka wants to win the championship. Kyrie want to win. But I'm saying as far as expectations, how many teams are better than Boston as opposed to how many teams you like to win the championship over Dallas, there's a big gap there. I don't think there's 3 teams that are beating Boston in a 7-game series. Where like, so now if you think that about a guy, like at some point you got to win one of those. You've been there, you lost.
No, I'm with you.
The multiple conference finals, you didn't get. The one time you got past there, you ended up losing. The other 2 times you went to 7 games, but wasn't on the winning side of those 7 games. Like at some point, you got to win.
And last year, you were down 3-0 to the 8 seed.
Yeah, like so. At some point, like you gotta, those gotta turn.
Everybody thought you should have probably swept them.
A lot of that.
The favorite
winning a championship, bro. When your hands down, the favorite thought you was finna get swept. Boston, LA.
And they should have beat Golden State too.
Yeah, like they was up 2-0.
They should have beat Golden State.
Like they was up 2-0. Like so you not only are like going into these situations and being an underdog, so it's understandable. Like it ain't the Harden matching up anytime you match up against Golden State. Like you're like, okay, if he played against anybody other than Golden State, I think Harden could get the job done. But
Harden would have won a championship that year if they didn't miss 97.
Exactly. But Tatum is like, bro, you're always favored. You were favored over Miami in both Eastern Conference Finals that y'all played each other in. You didn't beat. You might have been the underdog against Milwaukee. That's about it. No, actually, they didn't play Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference Finals. They played us all 3 times. I forgot. Duh. Yeah, we played Boston.
They played you. They played Cleveland. They played Cleveland in
their first year. But then
rookie year, they played Cleveland because he dunked on LeBron.
Their other 3 times they played us because they played us in the Eastern Conference Finals in the bubble, and then they played us in the Eastern Conference Finals the past 2 years. So, like, you've had all that success.
All right, you beat them in the bubble.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm thinking you guys beat somebody else.
And all those series went 7.
Yeah. So it's 7. It's good. We're gonna have a conversation. Like, this is a big year for Tatum, and it starts in the playoffs. Like, whatever he doesn't I obviously, I'm sure he would love to win MVP and all that, but it's where it's gonna happen in the playoffs because last year was a disappointment. Let's be real. They should have beat you guys.
You got him and Jaylen Brown, Kristaps,
and Kristaps, and you got Drew there now,
bro. And y'all came out swinging too. Like, y'all came out looking like how we expected y'all to look by the end of the season, adding Kristaps and Drew. Like, we were like, this, how they came out looking was like, this is the potential of the Celtics team. But they came out swinging like that. So now you like, the sky's the limit. If they're this good with no chemistry and all that, I don't care how much they worked in the offseason together. Chemistry develops in games. In-game habits are a lot different than workout habits. So, like, if you end up looking like that, like, you're going to look like monsters at the end of the season. So you don't really have no excuses. I mean, the only excuse, I won't say excuse, but the only luck that you got is that there's a couple other teams in the same category as you this year. It ain't just you. Like, everybody looking at Milwaukee like that. Everybody looking at Philly like that. Like, everybody looking at Embiid to get one, especially the way they playing without Harden and Maxey done ascended. Like, you're not the only team, one in your conference, let alone in the league, that's getting looked at like that. Like, oh, anything short of a championship. And I know there's usually multiple teams in that conversation, but with your legacy changing, or what we start different conversations we could have about Tatum, like, this year really matters. And it sucks to matter because there's a bunch of other guys. Jokic, let's say he win back-to-back championships. Start talking about him in a different light. Embiid finally gets one. You change.
He gets into the GOAT center talk if you get Jokic.
Giannis gets the second one. You know what I'm saying? 2 MVPs already, 2 championships. I would imagine he get the finals.
We'll say that for another show because you just created a new show idea I got. Because
on top of the fact that if Dame win the championship, like, you get Giannis and Dame impacted on that. Like, there's a lot of people who got their careers at stake on this year.
There's a lot. That's something we could talk about on the next show because a lot of championships. There's a lot of guys who either going to add to their championships or get there first that can change how people perceive them, and that's going to be huge. But we'll get down that on another show. But Mo, appreciate you coming on the show. Always a pleasure chopping up with you, brother. So before we leave, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can follow me at Mo_Cheese15. Make sure you check out Up in Flames. Make sure you check out Field Stormers. And then I'll probably end up doing the show hopefully Thursday or Friday with Jeff so we can talk some college football. I'm sure, Chris, you'll be on for that.
Yeah, I gotta talk. I gotta talk. I got a lot to say. I know you guys are pro 12-team playoff. So we're gonna talk about that. But yeah, you can follow me Off the Ball Pod on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Instagram, follow us on YouTube. We're 40 away from 500, so follow us on the Off the Ball Network YouTube. Go to offtheballnetwork.com. Check out all the great sponsors. Go to SeatGeek.com. Get $20 off your first purchase with the promo code Off the Ball Network, all caps. And check out all the great guys we got at the network and all that. So, but on that note, be well, be safe, take care, peace out.